What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 200, and today, of course, as we have reached another milestone, another landmark in the series, we do have a special video for you guys. And in this episode, it's going to be about an hour long, or I'd hope it's going to be about an hour long, and you're going to see a ton of games. I think I counted 8 games in total, plus a live Q&A as well. So it's going to be 30 minutes worth of post-commentaries over this pre-recorded footage, and then a live Q&A right at the end, which is going to be a North London derby, the first North London derby of the season against Spurs. So really hope you guys enjoy this video. Now, as per usual, if you can leave a like to show support, that is much appreciated, and it really does help my channel out. So if you appreciate the series, you really enjoy it, a like does go a long way. So if you can leave a like, that is much appreciated, but of course you don't have to if you don't want to. And I really do hope you guys enjoy this episode. Obviously, I can't say thank you enough for you guys, because on Sunday we reached 100,000 subscribers, and I'm really pleased with that. So thank you all so much for that, for helping me get to 100,000 subscribers. That's an amazing achievement. I'm really pleased and grateful for your support. And obviously, to reach 200 episodes in a single series is really good as well. So obviously, thank you so much to you guys for watching this series. Without you guys, we wouldn't even have this series, so I really appreciate it. And hopefully this special video is something you guys will really enjoy. So it's essentially like 4 episodes worth in this one video. We've got 3 post commentaries, because usually my post commentaries are like 10-minute long videos. So it's 30 minutes worth of post commentary. So that's like 3 separate episodes, and we got a live Q&A as well. So it's like 4 episodes rolled into one video, and hopefully you guys will really enjoy this. Still, we take on Hull City for the first of several games in today's episode, and the first couple of chances fell to us. Then John Joe Shelby had a good chance there for Hull, but it was still goalless. And on the stroke of half time, we looked as though we were going into the break still 0-0, but we did take the lead through Rodrigo Lazari. I thought the referee was going to blow for half time pretty quickly here, but instead Lazari ran through and he almost lost the ball, but he kept hold of it, went through one-on-one, and this guy is having a superb start to the season. And ever since we came in, we've put Lazari in the first team, and he's just been performing so well. That's now his 4th goal already this season in the Premier League, and he does make it Arsenal 1, Hull City 0. And 7 minutes after the restart here, Callum Chambers heads the ball on towards Joel Campbell, who Ronaldo chops around Rodri and back heels it towards Chambers. He chips the ball forward towards Lazari, he beats his man and shoots, and the goalkeeper Jakupovic, well, I don't think he could have done much about the first goal, but for this goal, I think he should have saved it. Lazari gets his 2nd of the game, and as you can see, the ball gets played over the top. Lazari wins it, nice little first touch, takes the strike, and it goes through the legs of Jakupovic, bounces off the ground, and goes in just off the underside of the bar. Did it clip the bar? No, it didn't. It goes in regardless, and it is Arsenal 2, Hull City 0. So 2-0 up in this game after the restart, and the game was pretty much ours. Hull did have 1 chance in the first half, but for the most part, it was pretty much routine for us here. And as Niang gets on the ball for us here with 10 minutes to go, he goes down left hand side and finds Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez takes it around Norris and plays it through towards Ramsey. Ramsey to Ozil. Ozil holds off the challenge and finds Ramsey. Nice little passing here. We almost give it away, but it comes to Ramsey. Nice little back heel, and Ozil finishes the chance really nicely. So I thought that was a pretty nice goal there. Lazari did momentarily lose the ball, but we won it back, and after the back heel from Ramsey found Ozil, it was a simple goal, to be honest. Nice little pass in, and we do make it 3-0 to Arsenal. So Arsenal 3, Hull City 0, and Hull City on career mode. I don't know why, but you know, during this career mode at least, they have actually done okay in a couple of seasons, but this year, despite their very good start to the season, well, it's only been a few games, but still a pretty decent start for them, we dominated right from the off, really, and other than the 1 chance they had, it was a pretty routine game for us. So a deserved victory for us, 3-0 against Hull City, and great to see Lazari score a double as well. I really like this striker. I mean, I'm so pleased I have put him in the first team, because he's just awesome to play with, you know, he really is, and a great double for him in that game sees us win the game by 3-0. And coming into the second game of today's episode here, the second of several games, we take on Brighton and Hove Albion away from home. And coming into this game, this is of course a Capital One Cup match. Now obviously we are going to be resting the entire team for these Capital One Cup games, as we always do, but I thought this would be a pretty fun game for us to play, to be honest, because a side note, for those of you who haven't been around for as long as some others, Brighton and Hove Albion were actually the first team I ever did any kind of career mode with, manager career mode that is. My first ever manager career mode was called manager mode, and I started with Brighton before moving to Spurs. Spurs, and sadly that save file actually ended up corrupting. But yeah, Brighton were the first team I ever managed on YouTube. How about that? But so we take on Brighton, 42nd game of today's episode, and of course resting the entire team coming into this game, just hoping for a good performances out there from a lot of young players. One of those was Rani Unlu starting the game, and he won us a penalty here pretty much directly from kickoff. We just passed the ball around, got a feel for the ball early on, and once Unlu beat the last man, he was going through one-on-one, and Keith Burke, the number 29, takes him down after putting on the shirt, and the referee has no hesitation in awarding a penalty. So penalty to Arsenal here. It is going to be Danny Welbeck who'll stand up and take it, one of the more experienced players in this Arsenal first 11. So it's going to be Welbeck against the goalkeeper. A great chance to make it 1-0 early on in this game and give us the lead against Brighton and Hove Albion. It's Welbeck against David Stockdale. Who's going to come out on top? It's Danny Welbeck, of course. We rarely miss penalties nowadays, and Welbeck does make it Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. So great to take the lead in this game. A confident penalty from Welbeck, and as soon as we took the lead in this game, I fancied our chance of going on to win it right from the off, because as I mentioned before, whenever I take the lead against lower league opposition in a cup tie, I always feel as though it's not exactly game over, but it's going to be very, very hard work for them to get back into the game, because the true class that we have is probably going to show. And as you can see, 33 minutes in, we went 2-0 up, Vargas getting the goal, a lovely assist by Daniel Illaramendi, one of our new signings in the summer transfer window. And Vargas, well, he's playing for his future here at Arsenal. He's got his contract up at the end of the year, and I'm not against releasing him at the end of the year if he doesn't leave on a pre-contract somewhere else in January. He's playing for his future here at Arsenal, and he needs to keep on scoring goals in the chances he gets. So he started this game, and he does score with pretty much his first touch of the game, to be honest. He'd barely done anything in the game until this point. Illaramendi plays a lovely ball over the top, and Vargas could not miss. So Brighton 0, Arsenal 2. It was going to be very difficult for the home side to get back in the game from this point on. And on the stroke of half-time, a great chance to make it 3-0. Vargas and Welbeck play a 1-2. Welbeck goes through one-on-one, but yeah, the less said about that finish, the better. Really poor attempt from Welbeck. Couldn't get a second game, and it was still 2-0. Just a couple minutes after the restart here, Vargas finds Illaramendi, and Illaramendi picks up Patrick Roberts just off the bench. He cuts inside, crosses the ball in, and Welbeck does get his second goal of the game, heads it past David Stockdale, and makes it Brighton 0, Arsenal 3. So 3-0 up in this game, 4 minutes after the restart, and the tie was effectively ours. So lovely little ball from Patrick Roberts there, another player essentially playing for his future, to be honest, here at Arsenal, and a great header by Danny Welbeck. So Brighton 0, Arsenal 3. Not much really happened then until the 72nd minute when we had a free kick, and I gave it to Santi Cazorla. Cazorla strikes it. It wasn't exactly what I tried to do, but I almost caught David Stockdale out there, and it looped just onto the roof of the net and behind for a goal kick. So still 3-0, but the home side didn't really do too much in the entire game, in all honesty. They were pretty subpar, and it was pretty routine for us once we got the first goal through the penalty to just keep hold of the ball and make them play Arsenal football. And as you can see in the 85th minute here, a great chance to make it 4-0. Some nice passing. Roberts plays that wide towards Cazorla, inside to Illaramendi, great ball inside, and Daniel Atter off the bench can't make it 4-0 as the shot goes over the bar. But it was how the game would finish. Brighton 0, Arsenal 3. We do get the win, and we are through to the next round of the Capital One Cup. That's fantastic news for us. Obviously, the Capital One Cup isn't exactly the trophy that this year will be desperate to win, but I do want some silverware with Arsenal not before too long. Of course, last season we came in January and we got knocked out of the Europa League in around the 32 stage. We lost in the FA Cup semi-finals to Liverpool, and we never really kidded ourselves. We were never really in the title race at all, to be honest. We never won anything last year, and this year I'm desperate for a trophy of some sort. Whatever we win, I don't know. I mean, obviously the board want us to win the Premier League and one of the FA Cup or the Capital One Cup, but you know, we need to win something this year. We can't go 2 seasons without a trophy, so hopefully we'll be able to get something. And you know, in the Capital One Cup we'll always play fringe players, but with performances like that there's no reason why we couldn't go all the way. But still, we take on Swansea for the third game of today's episode here as we travel to the Liberty Stadium to take on Swansea. Last season this was a pretty interesting fixture as we travelled to Wales. We beat Swansea by 4-0, but we actually got dominated during the game, and that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But it's exactly what happened. I don't expect you guys to remember it, but we took on Swansea. They had all of the chances other than 4, and we scored 4 goals, so we won that game 4-0. And coming into this game, we had the perfect start just 2 minutes in. Niang's shot was well saved with the goalkeeper, and it fell straight to Rodrigo Lazari in the right place at the right time, and those two celebrating together. I mean, already this season, they've only played a few games up top together, but they're already looking like a handful for opposition defences. Those two are going to score so many goals between them this season, and it was Swansea 0, Arsenal 1, courtesy of the Italian. So 1-0 to Arsenal, and in the 19th minute, a great chance to make it 2-0 as Niang goes forward, but Baumann makes a very good save and Hanley gets it away. So still 1-0 to Arsenal with a good chance there. In the 30th minute, there was a good chance for Swansea to get themselves back on level terms as the Korean Ki Sung-young takes it around Kieran Gibbs. He plays it inside towards Gylfi Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson holds it up and plays it inside towards Rory Donnelly, and Swansea do indeed equalise on the half-an-hour mark. Donnelly with the goal, and it was just a routine goal for Swansea. Very, very poor marking from me in the centre. Poor defending, really. Dragged Holland out of position. He couldn't get back, and it was a simple finish for Donnelly. So Swansea won, Arsenal won, the home side back on level terms. In the 38th minute, though, a great chance to make it 2-1. Ryan Sarr's header from this corner was well saved by Baumann and turned behind for another corner. Very good save with the goalkeeper there, and we were level at the break. And in the second half, just a couple minutes after the restart, Swansea almost got themselves in front for the first time. Dyer's strike from just outside the area went over the bar and behind for a goal kick, but it was still 1-1. And wouldn't you know it, as the game was still on level terms in the 53rd minute, we did take the lead again, but it comes through Lyndon Obita. Now, this guy signed for us last season. He's a 67 or possibly 68 overall centre-back. He's not going to get too many chances here at Arsenal. He comes off the bench at half-time and he scores his first goal for the club against his former club. We signed this guy from Swansea for a couple of million. He's not going to get too many chances. I thought I'd bring him off the bench for his homecoming, and he ends up scoring a goal against his former club to put us in the lead. Wouldn't you just know it? So Swansea won, Arsenal 2, and with a few minutes to go, Swansea pushed way too many bodies forward looking for the equalising goal. They couldn't get one though, and we exploited that space at the back as we played Odi Barjo through, and it's the regen of Jermaine Defoe who makes it Swansea 1, Arsenal 3. So 2 substitutes came off the bench in this game, Odi Barjo and Lyndon Obita, and both of them scored as well. So Swansea 1, Arsenal 3, and we are going to claim the 3 points here in Wales. So lovely composed finish there from the regen of Jermaine Defoe, and it is 3-1 to Arsenal. And the final chance would actually fall here in the 90th minute, a great chance to make it 4-0. Mesut Ozil turns Hanley, plays it through towards Odi Barjo. He takes on Jordi Amat, beats him, cuts inside and shoots, but it goes just over the bar and behind for a goal kick. It was how the game would finish though. Swansea 1, Arsenal 3, so another win for us, another 3 points for Arsenal. And you know, we had a bit of an inconsistent start to the season, but I'm definitely hopeful of getting a good run going not before long, and that was a really, really solid performance for us there. A deserved victory, and that was now 3 wins out of 3, and I was very, very pleased with that result. So Swansea 1, Arsenal 3, and another win for us in the Premier League. And for the 4th game of today's episode here, we travel to Belgium to take on Genk. Taking on the Belgium side, obviously in the Champions League group stage. Now, we beat Sevilla in match day 1 at the Emirates Stadium as the Spanish side came to take us on. We beat them by 3-0, and you know, had Rennie Adler not been in such impressive form, we could have won it by 4, 5, possibly even 6-0, to be honest. And coming into this game, well, Genk, you know, I may not know too much about them. They're certainly not a bad side, I know that much, but I definitely fancy our chances of winning both home and in this game, which is away. So coming into this game, I did decide to rest quite a few players, but even so, it was still a very strong side out there. The first chance would fall to us in the 11th minute as well, as Alexis Sanchez comes forward here and takes it around his man. He gets a little bit lucky as he gave the ball away but wins it back, chips it through towards Mbanyang down the left hand side, lovely first touch, then takes a strike and he ends up hitting the post and going behind for a goal kick. So still goalless, but the first chance coming to us, and in the 27th minute we would indeed take the lead, and it comes through a rare goal scorer in Mathieu Debuchy. And how about this for a strike from our right back? Now of course he's retiring at the end of the season, so this will be his last season in professional football, and what a superb strike this is. He's not going to get too many games here because obviously we want to try and play Proctor a little bit, as he's one of our understudies for Callum Chambers, our first choice right back, but he will get some games here and there, and that is a wonderful goal by Debuchy. Although I have to say, on second viewing, at first I thought it was one of the best goals I've ever scored, but on second viewing I have to say I think the goalkeeper probably should have saved it, to be honest. But even so, look at the way it just dips, you know, it goes up over those 2 defenders that would jump in and then underneath the bar. A wonderful goal by Debuchy, and he does make it Genk 0, Arsenal 1. So the perfect start to this game, 1-0 up already, Debuchy the right back with the goal, and we do take the lead just before the half-an-hour mark. But just a few minutes later, Genk come forward themselves here, and as I give the ball away with Lazzarini trying to play out from the back, it's flicked inside towards Jelle Vossen, and sadly for us, we give away a penalty through Kagan Holland, and I had absolutely no complaints about it whatsoever as well, because I gave the ball away stupidly with our left back. The ball just deflected, unfortunately for us, right into the path of a Genk player. He flicked it on, down, and Vossen was going through one-on-one. I thought the only thing I can do is lunge in, just try and take the ball away. If not, I'll take the man down and give at least Szczesny a chance of saving a penalty. So it's a penalty to Genk. I had no complaints about that one whatsoever. Sometimes you'll get dodgy penalties against you and you'll think that the FIFA gods are against you and everything's going against you, but I had nothing. There was no complaints about that one at all. So penalty to Genk. It's going to be Vossen who won it against Szczesny, and Vossen does score it. Very, very unfortunate there. Szczesny does dive the right way. He does get a firm hand on it, but he can't keep it out, and Genk do equalise through the man who won the penalty and scored it as well, Vossen. So Genk won, Arsenal won. Sadly, Szczesny couldn't keep it out despite getting a glove to it. So 1-1 here, and directly from kickoff we tried to respond and get ourselves back in front as Niang kicks off and gives it to Danny Welbeck. And as per usual, whenever we start a kickoff from conceding a goal, you know, my first thought is how quickly can I get ourselves the goal back that we just conceded. So straight from kickoff I gave it to Holland. Holland finds Koscielny. We pass out from the back, and Lazzarini, the left back, plays it inside towards Niang. Niang takes a couple of touches. I decided to let fly from range, and what a goal that would have been. What an instant reply that would have been. Sadly, it does go just wide the post though, and it is still 1-1. So going into the second half, we were still on level terms here in Belgium, and Genk would have the first chance of the second half. Very poor defending there, lack of communication as two players went for the same ball, but Koscielny makes a brilliant block, and it's then headed off the line by Lazzarini as it looped over Szczesny. It was going to trickle into the goal, so still 1-1, and from that we broke after Rani Yunlu's challenge. It comes to Danny Welbeck. Welbeck has Niang ahead of him, fake shots around the defender, picks out on by Niang. Great chance for 2-1 here, but what a save that is by the goalkeeper. Absolutely superb stop to deny Niang a certain goal, and it is still Genk 1, Arsenal 1. And from the corner, Niang does cross the ball into the centre, looks for Laurent Koscielny, and his header loops up in the air, hits the top of the bar, and goes behind for a goal kick. So still 1-1, and we are still on level terms. And in the 72nd minute, a great chance to make it 2-1 as Illaramendi plays the ball through towards Vargas here. Vargas runs through, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, waits for a defender to come back and challenge him. He step overs round him, and again, the goalkeeper makes a superb save on the one-on-one and keeps it at 1-1. So still we're on level terms here. In the 81st minute, Genk almost won it. Szczesny had to make a very good save there to deny the Genk player from scoring and making it 2-1. So good stop by our goalkeeper. And from that, once again, we broke, trying to get ourselves back in front in this game as time was expiring. It comes to Eduardo Vargas off the bench, takes it around his man, rides the slide challenge, finds Rani Yunlu. Yunlu keeps hold of the ball with a quick little Ronaldo chop, finds Vargas, and Vargas is denied by, again, another great save by the Genk goalkeeper. And it was how the game would finish as well. Genk 1, Arsenal 1. So sadly the winning streak ends there as we draw against Genk. But to be honest, I was quite frustrated about it, you know, because obviously we had so many chances. We should have at least tucked one of them away. But that's football, you know. If you don't take your chances, you won't win games, and it's as simple as that, to be honest. But even so, not too disheartened about it. You know, 2 games into the Champions League group, we're still top of the group, as you'll see in just a moment's time, with 1 win and 1 draw. So not too disheartened, despite the fact we probably should have picked up all 3 points. Still following that, we have a squad report, so you can check out how the players are currently doing in this Arsenal team. Obviously, as I mentioned before, we have made some pretty decent improvements to it. I am liking the look of it right now, but there is still a hell of a lot of work to do. I'm hoping in January, with the money we have left over after saving our money in the summer, we could pull off 1 or possibly 2 new players coming into the club, and also hopefully selling on one of these players like Amrabat or Butler, one of these fringe players who won't play much for us, to be honest. Astina there won't play much for us, and are just taking up space, taking up a contract which they don't really need. And there you go. We'll have to wait and see. And also look at the league table as well. As you can see, the start so far has been okay. 4 wins and 2 defeats in 6 games, but those 2 defeats did come away against Manchester United and West Bromwich Albion, so I guess you can't really be too disheartened about those 2 defeats. But United have only won once out of the 6 games, and that was against us. So as I mentioned Manchester United before, they are a bit of a dodgy team on career mode. Sometimes they do really well, sometimes they don't, but even so, we'll have to wait and see how they do. But as you can see as well, Champions League group, as I mentioned there, 1 win, 1 draw. We're top of the table. We're not too fussed right now as we are a third of the way through. And also look at the Capital One Cup draw as well for the round of 16 too. So as you can see right now, you know, the start of the season hasn't exactly been perfect, no doubt about it, but it's not been too bad whatsoever. I mean, when we came into manage Arsenal last season, back in January, it took us a bit of time to get going. We were kind of frustrated right at the beginning with the team we'd inherited. We weren't really finding the best way to play with the team. But, you know, coming into this season, starting fresh with a summer transfer window under our belt, I'm liking the start we've made. It's not perfect, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. And we take on Everton for the following game here in today's super long episode as Everton travel to take us on here at the Emirates Stadium. And the first chance would fall to us in the 15th minute as Mesut Ozil picks the ball up for us and has a couple of options ahead of him as we go on a 3-on-2 run. He picks out on Bayern Niang, who takes on Besic here. He takes it round his man with the Blanco hop, and well, he scores the goal. It didn't go exactly how I planned, obviously, but even so, when I watched that goal back on the replay, I couldn't help but think to myself, shouldn't this have been a foul? As Niang gives the ball away after the Blanco hop, he just kicks Besic. He just swipes his leg and takes Besic out. Is that not a foul? It seemed like a foul to me, but maybe we got a bit lucky there. Even so, Niang does tuck the finish away and makes it Arsenal 1, Everton 0. And in the 24th minute, a great chance to make it 2-0. Niang picks out Lazaro, who takes on John Stones. He shoots from just outside the area, but it's a very good save by the goalkeeper, and it's turned away for a throw-in. So still 1-0. And a minute before the break here, we have another great chance from a corner. We pick out Aaron Ramsey with a free header, but it goes over the bar and behind for a goal kick. So still Arsenal 1, Everton 0. In the 56th minute, though, Everton had one of their first chances of the game, to be honest, as Morales crosses in a corner. And how many times have I said this? Goalkeepers this year from corners, whenever the ball is floated into the 6-yard box, I never have any confidence, regardless of what goalkeeper I'm using. And Szczesny, well, I haven't really been convinced with Szczesny since I came in. He's not really done much of a good job. He's had a couple of good games here and there, but he's made quite a few mistakes already. And Szczesny goes to catch it, he drops the ball, it's on the floor, he doesn't even seem to dive on the ball or do anything, he just watches it, and John Stones has the simplest of finishes. So it is Arsenal 1, Everton 1, Stones with the goal, a howler from Szczesny, and it was how the game would finish as well. Not much happened after that. We do draw the game, 1 goal each, and just really frustrating, you know, because in the first half we should have scored a couple more goals than just the one we did score through Niang. And in the second half, you know, to have Szczesny concede the only goal of the game for a bit of a howler was really, really annoying. But I don't know why. I genuinely cannot defend corners when they come into the 6-yard box this year. Maybe you guys are the same. Maybe it's just me being a terrible defender. But yeah, I genuinely cannot defend corners when it comes to the 6-yard box, and the goalkeeper just never seems to be convincing. It's unbelievably frustrating. Still following that, a couple of World Cup qualifiers with England. We beat Greece for the first one by 3-0, and for the second one against Wales, as you'll see, we actually end up losing this qualifier. So we lost to Northern Ireland. Now we've now lost to Wales. We just can't beat the home counties, can we? So Northern Ireland beat us for the first time, then Wales beat us for the first time here as manager of England, and we've beaten Sweden, I think it was, and Greece in between. So yeah, 2 wins, 2 losses from the first 4 games of the qualifying group, but I'm not really too fussed, to be honest, and there you go. And also a scout report as well from our youth scout, currently based in England. He picked us up a couple of players, but they all look really poor, so we rejected a couple and continued the scouting on the rest of them, and we'll have to wait and see how they do. I'm hopeful of picking up at least 1 good player from the 9-month mission that our scout is currently on, putting them in our academy and hopefully promoting them next year. I don't know why, I love having youth academy players, even if they don't play too many games, you know, players that you've scouted yourselves, but we'll have to wait and see who he finds. He's got to do better than that though. That was a terrible first month. And we take on Newcastle United for the penultimate game of the post-commentary part of today's episode of Career Mode here, travelling to take them on at St James's Park. Newcastle have made a very, very decent start to this season, so this was not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. But the first chance would fall to us though in the 3rd minute, as Callum Chambers picks the ball up for us and finds Joel Campbell. He spreads it out wide towards Rodrigo Lazaro, who takes on Vlad Kirikes, back heels to Campbell, who crosses the ball in, and Niang's header is well saved by Nato and turned behind for a corner. In the 9th minute though, another great chance for us, and again it's going to be by Niang, who has the effort. He has a free kick 31 yards out, tries to curl it into that near post, but it goes just wide and behind for a goal kick. So a couple of good chances for Niang, but it was still 0-0. In the 38th minute though, some very, very, very bad news for us, as Alexis Sanchez gets challenged and goes down in a crumpled heap and gets himself an injury. So very, very bad news for us, because Sanchez is our joint highest player in terms of overall, and he certainly is one of our best players in this club, and Sanchez does get himself an injury. That is a massive, massive blow for us. So we bring on Danny Welbeck and push Niang to play out wide, Campbell on the left hand side, Niang on the right, and Welbeck up top. So Sanchez getting an injury, and it looked pretty nasty as well, clattering the knees there, and he ends up clutching that right knee. So injury to Sanchez. He was hoping that's not going to be a serious one, and from that, as Newcastle gave the ball away and it went out for a throw in, we got ourselves forward with Kieran Gibbs playing a 1-2 with Danny Welbeck. Welbeck takes it round Daryl Janmaat. Janmaat's pulling on the shirt, but Gibbs keeps on going, crosses the ball in, and Danny Welbeck, with only his 2nd touch, or possibly his 3rd touch since coming on the pitch, makes it Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1 as he heads it past Nato and gives us the lead. And Newcastle played on when Sanchez was injured and ran the ball out of play by accident, so I didn't feel the need to give it back or anything. The AI didn't make us give it back, so I thought I'll just go and attack and see what I can do. We crossed the ball in and Welbeck heads it in. So Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1. Welbeck, who just came off the bench for Sanchez, gets the goal, and we do take the lead in this game. In the second half, Jack Colback went relatively close there with his shot going just over the bar and behind for a goal kick. And 10 minutes later, as Newcastle get the ball away, Ozil flicks it on and it comes to Odubajo off the bench. Odubajo takes it around Anita, slides it through towards Danny Welbeck. Vlad Chiriches is never going to catch up with Danny Welbeck, but Nato makes a brilliant save on a one-on-one and keeps his side in the game. So it was still 1-0 to Arsenal, but to be honest, other than the one chance Newcastle had with Jack Colback, they didn't really do much, which was a real surprise for us considering their early season form. I thought this was going to be a really difficult game. Once we got the opening goal through Danny Welbeck, the game was pretty much ours, and we did wrap it up with 6 minutes to go. Mesut Ozil grabbing a goal and making it Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2. We went down the left-hand side, drilled in across. They are so effective on this game, and Mesut Ozil just had a tap in, really. You could not miss that. Lovely little fake shot by Campbell, crosses the ball in. Ozil pulls off the last man and just slots the ball into that bottom corner. So Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2, and it was how the game would finish as well. So a 2-0 victory for Arsenal. Very pleased to get the win there, and yeah, it was a deserved victory at the end of the day. We thoroughly deserved it. We get back to winning ways, and it was a routine victory, and again, quite a surprising one at that. You know, like I really felt as though Newcastle were going to put us under a lot more pressure. Instead, it was pretty routine. But Sanchez is going to be out for 4 weeks with that injury, so pretty fortunate to be honest. Yes, he'll be out for a month, which is a bit of a shame. He'll miss some key games, including this one against Porto in the Champions League, but he won't miss as many games as I thought. I thought it was going to be months, not just weeks, but instead 4 weeks. We can live without Sanchez until then, you know, we really can. Despite the fact we've got some key games coming up, we can live without Sanchez. I really do believe that, so thankfully it's not as serious as it first looked. We do take on Porto though for the final game of this post-commentary part of today's episode and the penultimate game of the whole episode as Porto come and take us on here at the Emirates Stadium. Of course, 1 win and 1 draw from our opening 2 Champions League game. The win coming against Sevilla at home and a draw away against Belgium. So taking on Porto at home, definitely fancied our chances despite the fact they've also got 4 points from 2 games just like us. The first chance would fall to us though, and the first goal would be scored by us too. Santi Cazorla, playing his final season in professional football, makes it Arsenal 1, Porto 0, and it was a really fortunate goal as well because Cazorla celebrates, but this was completely unintentional. As the ball got played through to the Spaniard there, he seemed to turn around and lose track of the ball, and he backheels it into his own path. Nothing lucky about the finish. Very nice finish into the bottom corner, but a very, very lucky build up there as we make it Arsenal 1, Porto 0. So I got very fortunate there. We did indeed take the lead, as I thought Cazorla was going to get the ball away. Instead, he did slot it into the bottom corner and make it 1-0. So 1-0 to Arsenal early on, the perfect start. And from kickoff, Alexandro goes down the left-hand side here and takes on Serge Gnabry. Gives it back towards Reyes, who finds Herrera. Herrera finds Josue. He keeps hold of the ball and goes down his right-hand side. Drags Koscielny out of position. Plays it backwards towards Ricardo Pereira. Pereira back to Jackson Martinez. Into Josue. Back to Martinez. Martinez plays a 1-2 with Herrera. And Jackson Martinez makes it Arsenal 1, Porto 1. So Porto back on level terms pretty much directly from kickoff. My defending there was atrocious, but you have to appreciate the build-up play from Porto. Really, really nice passing. Really, really accurate. They never looked like they were going to give the ball away unless we made a challenge, and we just couldn't. Lovely little pass inside there, and Jackson Martinez was not going to miss. So Arsenal 1, Porto 1, and the away side are back on level terms. But in the 12th minute, Santi Cazorla hits the bar from this free kick from a mile out. What a goal that would have been. Sadly for us though, it did cannon off the woodwork, and Porto got it away. So still 1-1, and in the 18th minute here, a great chance for Porto to take the lead for the first time as Brahimi finds Hector Herrera, and he is denied by a very good stop by Szczesny. So good save by our goalkeeper, and it was still 1-1. But from the corner, Carlos Eduardo plays it short towards Reyes. It misses everyone and comes to Martinez. Jackson Martinez finds out Alexandro. The first shot is blocked, but it comes to Brahimi, who first time volleys it past Szczesny into the open goals. He'd already dived the other way to try and deny the shot that was deflected. And Brahimi makes it Arsenal 1, Porto 2. So the Portuguese side take the lead for the first time in the game. Really, really poor defending there. To not get that ball away from the short corner was poor. To not get it away when the shot was blocked was really poor. Just a terrible goal to concede, and Porto are in the lead for the first time in the game. But on the stroke of half time though, we would equalise through Rodrigo Lazzari, the man who cannot stop scoring at the start of this season. The Italian heads in across from the left hand side and puts it past the goalkeeper and makes it 2-2. the interesting thing about Lazari is that he's not the tallest of players. He's certainly not small, but he's not the tallest, yet he wins so many headers for us in the air. You wouldn't have fancied him to win that aerial battle, but he did, and he makes it Arsenal 2, Porto 2. So we're back on level terms as we went into the break, but in the second half here, as Porto crossed the ball in, another injury for us, 2 in 2 games, and for another first team player as well, as we played the ball forward with the throw from Szczesny. Play stops because Kagan Holland has an injury, and sadly for us, it's another injury to a first team player. You know, Sanchez in the last game against Newcastle, now Kagan Holland. Very, very frustrating indeed, as he does leave the pitch, and it's another injury. We can certainly live without Holland, as I don't mind playing Koscielny ahead of him, as he is actually better in terms of overall, but still pretty disappointing to see another player get injured for us. But in the 68th minute here, a great chance to make it 3-2 to Arsenal, as Danny Welbeck finds Santi Cazorla. He turns Reyes and gets himself inside here. Cazorla doesn't have too much pace, but he's got enough to keep on going. He tries to chip the goalkeeper as well, but it's a good stop as he turns it over and keeps it at 2-2. So very good save there. In the 87th minute though, it was still 2-2, and it looked as though the game was going to finish as a stalemate, but as Porto came forward here with Pereira, he takes it around his man and finds Carlos Eduardo back inside, and the shot goes just wide of the post and behind for a goal kick. So Porto almost winning it with just a couple of minutes to go, but thankfully for us the shot did go wide of the post and behind for a goal kick. So still 2-2, but in stoppage time here, Porto come forward, and wouldn't you just know it, do end up winning the game through Jackson Martinez. Martinez gets his second of the game, and I have to say, Szczesny has his hands on his head, and I said I'm not convinced by the guy too much, and I really think he should have saved this one. The shot was struck with some power, but it seemed to be pretty much straight at him, and it just seemed to go past his gloves, and you'd expect a goalkeeper of his class at 85 overall to at least get something on that. Instead he doesn't, and it goes into the back of the net, and it's Arsenal 2, Porto 3. So maybe I'm being a little bit too critical, but given his recent form, given the fact that since we came in he's been quite disappointing for us in terms of, you know, the fact you'd expect him to make those sort of saves, I wasn't really too happy about that. And we do lose against Porto, and lose for the first time in quite a while, so that is a big blow for us in this Champions League group, which could end up being very, very tight. To lose to Porto, who had already got 4 points, now with 3 points behind them, is a massive blow. But that is going to end the post-commentary part of this episode, so thank you very much for watching the episode so far, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed it. The next part of this episode, and the final part, is going to be the live Q&A in the North London derby against Spurs, so I really do hope you enjoy it. If you have been enjoying the video so far, then please do leave likes, it is much appreciated, and it really does help my channel out, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of episode number 200 as well. So thanks for watching this part, and hopefully you enjoyed the North London derby against Spurs. Okay guys, so welcome to the live Q&A part of episode number 200 of Career Mode. It is of course going to be a North London derby against Spurs, so super excited for this. Obviously we've been on a bit of an inconsistent run, as you guys would have been seeing, but we haven't had the worst starts to the season, so I'm fancying our chances, I really am, and we'll see what we can do. But obviously that loss to Porto, unbelievably frustrating, it really was, and that is why coming into this game, as for the changes I'm going to make one massive change, and I'm going to drop Szczesny and play Chris Ince, who is 10 ratings lower, because Szczesny, I don't know, I mean, can you blame him for the third goal against Porto? I mean, I really think he should have saved it personally. A goalkeeper of his class anyway should have done, but even so, no major changes, because Koscielny will start of course due to Holland's injury, and yeah, Sanchez of course still out as well, so that's a bit of a shame to be missing 2 first team players, one of your first choice centre backs and one of your best players, if not your best player in the team. So yeah, we'll go with this team, and we'll see what we can do. I'm still confident in Miaichi will come in and do a good job for us, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. And this is the team I'll go with, and yeah, here's hoping we can win on the final game of this super long episode. And of course, this episode should be around an hour long. At least I would certainly hope it should be. If not, then just a few minutes lower than that, probably, or lower than that. Well, a few minutes shorter than that. But even so, I do want to say a big thank you for watching the video, guys. Obviously, I really do hope you have been enjoying it so far. Hopefully, you will enjoy this live Q&A as well. And as per usual, if you want to get involved in the series, ask me some questions on Twitter for live commentaries. If you want to just follow me on Twitter, keep up to date on my videos and so on and so forth. Sometimes make decisions in career mode, like signings. I often throw them out to you guys on Twitter. Then, yeah, definitely follow me on Twitter. It is @.clanders. And, yeah, it should be a good way for you to keep in contact, I guess. I like to make sure that you guys can message me in some way. And I've got to be honest, like I have been pretty inactive on Twitter over the past couple of weeks. That's for personal reasons, but even so, I do try and respond to quite a lot of you guys, and I've been reading some of the questions today. They're pretty decent, so thanks very much for those. And I'll try and get around to as many as possible, as per usual. Though, if I can't answer them all, don't take it personally. I just get absolutely tons, and I can never answer every single one that comes in. But still, yeah, hopefully you have been enjoying episode 200. To be honest, I didn't really know what to do for it. I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest, because there haven't really been any, massive games during this period whilst episode 200 has came about. So I've had to stretch it out a little bit to include a North London derby. But hopefully you have been enjoying it, and it is essentially like 4 episodes rolled into one. 3 post commentaries and 1 live one. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy this, and hopefully we'll get a win as well. But like I said, our inconsistent form of late and that loss to Porto has frustrated me a little bit. Let's just say that. But even so, let's get ourselves down to the questions and let us see how many we can answer. And obviously as well, thank you so much for 200 episodes on Career Mode. I couldn't do this without you guys, and yeah, you guys know how appreciative I am for your support. And if you can leave a like, then please do so. And I would have mentioned it by now, but yeah, 200 episodes is crazy amount to get to, and of course without you guys, we wouldn't even do 2 episodes. I wouldn't even have a channel. So you guys, I really do appreciate the support. And there you go. So let's get down to the questions, and the first one is gonna come from, which one should we go with first? Just checking on my phone. Which one should we go with? Let's go with Dylan Bishop, and he says, do you plan to do any new series for FIFA 15? This is a good one to start with. Yes, I do. I have a new series which I'm planning for the near future. Obviously, my player only started a few weeks ago, so I don't need to put loads of new stuff out like in a short space of time, because well, no series would have any legs if I did that, because I just get too bogged down with so many to do. But I do have a new series planned for the near future. I'm not sure when exactly I'll probably start making the videos on it, but I think it's a pretty decent idea. It's something I've never really done before. In fact, it's pretty much completely unique for me. So hopefully I can get that started soon. I don't know when exactly, but I'd imagine, as it is mid-March right now, coming into late March, I would imagine that I'll get the first episode up sometime during April, if not May. It'll be something completely new, and hopefully it'll be really, really fun, and I won't give too much away, but yeah, I've got something in the pipeline. And it should be good fun. Obviously, as I mentioned before, that one of the biggest problems with me is because I do really long series, and I never like to end anything really, after such a short period of time. I like to keep things going for as long as possible. It means that there's less chances for me to do new stuff, because I just don't have the time to upload more than twice a day, obviously. And otherwise, if I kept on doing new stuff and I had old stuff to do as well, I'd never get the time to upload everything, and obviously I wouldn't be able to keep everything very regular. So there you go. But there is something planned for the future. Probably sometime during April, if not then May, and it will be something completely new, which I hopefully you guys will enjoy. Anyway, our next question comes from Jacob Canatea, and he says, will you be watching the NCAA March Madness tourney? I would recommend it for basketball fans. Yes, I will be watching it. I'm really excited for it, to be honest. I'm not a college basketball fan, so I've never watched this thing before. I don't really know anything about college basketball, to be honest with you. So I'm really excited. This will be the first one I've watched, to be honest. So it should be good fun. And yeah, hopefully, oh right, someone's injured. I was going to say, it's just a guy walking off the pitch. I was like, what? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That just confused me. I just saw a Spurs player walking off the pitch, like thinking it was half time or something. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've never watched college basketball before, so it should be a lot of fun. And there you go. Oh man, Ryan's site is so slow. And the next question comes from Buffington, which is an incredible name, and he says, how much into music are you, and if you are, then what kind of music are you into? Music for me, I do love music. I do love listening to music, but I'm not someone who goes to gigs or concerts. I've been to 2 gigs in my lifetime, and that was back in 2013. I went to see Keaton Henson play live, which was an unbelievable experience, I'll say that much. And great chance for Spurs, and a shot by Yedlin goes wide. And I also went to see Joshua Radin play back in 2011, 2012, a few years ago now. So yeah, I've seen Joshua Radin play live, I've seen Keaton Henson play live, but I'm not really into live music and concerts and gigs anyway, to be honest. It doesn't really interest me at all. But I do like listening to music, and to be honest, I don't really have a genre either. I think I might have said this before, I don't really have a genre. I can listen to anything, really. I mean, I went to the gym this morning and I was listening to grime on the way there. And this afternoon, if I'm having a bit of a relaxing mood, I'll probably put on some indie or something classical, so I don't really have a genre. I'll listen to anything, and there you go. And the next question, ref, let me play on. And the next question comes from Sam, and Sam says, until what age did you believe you could be a professional footballer? I'll be honest, I believed it for a very long time. I played football from the age of about 6, 7 up until, the last time I properly played was when I was 17. But I believed for quite a few of my teenage years, because I was pretty good at football, like I really was. I wasn't someone who, like, I never sit here and talk about, I guess I never sit here and say stuff like, I could have gone pro if it wasn't for my dodgy knee or anything. But I was pretty good at football, I was a pretty decent goalkeeper, to be fair, and I genuinely believed my PE teacher was always really supportive in terms of the praise he gave me. I always believed there was definitely a chance if I kept on playing well, and if I had chances and I had people that may have come to watch me, I probably could have impressed and got somewhere. But I was never really, I was never delusional. I never kidded myself. I knew if I was ever going to become pro, I would require a hell of a lot more practice. I would require a hell of a lot more coaching and a lot more commitment, which quite frankly I wasn't going to do. And I wasn't, I was pretty decent, but I wasn't like the best in a county or whatever. So yeah, I believe there was always a chance until a pretty mid-teenager, I guess. But I was never delusional. I never kidded myself. I knew that the chances were 1 in 100 or whatever. So there you go. And the next question, there's a good chance here. The next question, which I'll get to in just a moment, comes from as Niang goes down this right-hand side, or left-hand side, sorry. And Niang should make it 1-0 and does. The big man for the big occasion. His first North London derby goal. Oh my goodness, seriously, I don't know why teams don't know this, but he is the danger man. Seriously, he's always the man I'll look to if I need a goal. The next question comes from Taylor, and Taylor says, you wake up and quickly realise that all other human beings on the planet have disappeared. What's the first thing you do? I don't really know. I've always had these really dodgy thoughts in my mind of wanting to be so alone in the universe where it's just me and there's not a single human being around. And I don't know why that is. It's kind of a weird thing to think about. But I always thought that would be a nice safe haven for me, just never having to deal with the stress of other people. And I don't really know what the first thing I would do is, to be honest. I would probably, I don't know, it's such a hard question to answer, it really is. I'd probably just go around to the biggest mansions in the country or in the region, the most richest households in the world, and just colonize that place and live there, I guess. Just try and move all my stuff there, even though it doesn't matter how good my house would be or how I'd be living, because there'd be no one else around. But I just want the experience to be rich for once, I'd probably go to I don't know who actually lives there, but KSI's penthouse in London. I'd probably go there, to be honest, and just try and make that place my own. But I don't know why exactly. And Eriksen should make it 1-1, and what a save by Chris Ince! What a superb stop by the goalkeeper. But yeah, I'd probably just go to a really rich person's house or whatever, and just live there. And make it my own and build some new stuff, I guess, just for the hell of it. And the next question comes from, as Ince comes and claims it, well done, son. The next question comes from, actually, it's a great chance for a counter-attack here. Come on, Lazari, you got pace, mate. You got pace. There's no way Ben Davies is catching you. Come on, Lazari, this is a great chance here. I need some support, though. There's no one with him. Still Lazari, can he go alone? Play it inside. Still Lazari blocked. And that'll probably be dealt with, and there you go. The next question comes from Gradeford, and he says, I won't answer his first question, but his second question says, what is your greatest fear? My greatest fear, I don't really know. Probably is something stereotypical like dying alone, to be honest. But I guess I do have a really massive fear of never figuring out or never being comfortable with the fact that I'll never understand for definite how we came to be, what comes after, death, and, how, whether our presence really means anything. I guess that probably is my greatest fear, never really knowing anything. Oh, Lazari, what a save that is, and it's a miss kick of the ball by Ozil. But yeah, never really understanding, I guess just human life and why we're here, what our experience is for, what the point of life is. I guess that probably is my greatest fear, because I'm someone who just can't get the concept of there being no God, no afterlife out of my mind. I can't become an atheist, despite the fact I'm technically, I guess you could say I'm an agnostic atheist, but I can't convince myself that there is nothing, but I also can't convince myself there is something, and that really is a big fear for me, that I'll never be comfortable with that. Even though I'll never know for definite, I'll never be comfortable. I'm always questioning. I'm always worried. I'm always petrified about it. So I guess that probably is my greatest fear, really. Just never being comfortable with who we are, why we're here, and what comes next, I guess. And there you go. And the next question comes from, as Ramsey gives the ball away, that was a really poor pass there. I was trying to find Kieran Gibbs. The next question comes from, that shot, just wide of the post, comes from Luke McLaughlin. Is that how you pronounce your name? And he says, have you ever played or enjoyed PES, Pro Evolution Soccer, that is? I've played it a few times, but for me, even though a lot of people really enjoyed playing PES 6 and I think it was PES 5, maybe PES 7. A lot of people preferred that to FIFA back in the day. I've always owned FIFA. Like, I've never once owned a physical copy of PES. And it's a game which I've mentioned and talked about before. It does seem pretty, it doesn't seem as bad as it used to be. Lazari to 2-0, what a great cross that was by Mesut Özil. It is a game which used to get a lot of stick, and now with what FIFA and EA have done to the Ultimate Team market, does seem to be a game which does have a chance to get itself back into the mix in terms of the dominant football game. But it's something which still doesn't really interest me as much as FIFA, Like, I'd still much prefer to buy FIFA every year, even though PES does seem to be getting a little bit better year by year, and a lot more credible. So I've played it before, but I've never actually owned a copy of it, and I'd still prefer to play FIFA, because it's the game mode it's the video game I've been playing. Well, since the late 90s, I know I'm really old, but I've been playing FIFA for years, and I've never once looked at PES and said, yeah, I'd rather buy that this year. It's always been FIFA, so even though it is probably getting better and getting a lot more respect, FIFA is still the game for me, and probably always will be. And Jake McLean says, how much spare time do you have after finishing making all of your videos? To be honest, not a lot. I mean, I mentioned like a couple of times, I'm a really boring person. I'm more than willing to admit that. In fact, I saw someone a couple of weeks ago who must have thought I was the most boring person in the world compared to what they do in their day-to-day lives. But I'm a boring person, but one of the main reasons is because I don't have the time to have loads and loads of extravagant hobbies and stuff like that. I genuinely spend so much time making YouTube videos. And after I've done that, what do I try and fit into the day? Well, I go to the gym for an hour a day, and once I've done that as well, there's barely any time left for me to do anything, because YouTube videos take up so much of your time. And as I mentioned before, a lot of people start YouTube and then, why are you going away, Niang? A lot of people start YouTube videos and then give up after a while, because they don't realise just how much effort it takes to to make. For example, I make 2 videos a day which are always 10 minutes plus, or the vast majority of the time 10 minutes plus. That takes a long time, to do it twice a day without fail. And that of course means that a lot of the time you'll have to make 3 videos a day to compensate for the fact there are some days where you won't be able to make any for whatever reason. Maybe you've got stuff going on in your personal life which can't be moved. So you don't really get much free time at all, to be honest, and that's why I always sound so boring, because whenever I'm on Twitter or talking about anything, I'm usually either making videos at the time or at the gym at the time, so it is very difficult to get spare time and free time, because it just takes an absolute age. There isn't really a time scale I can give you where I say, oh, it takes 8 hours a day, for example, every single day without fail, because every day is different. Sometimes you'll have some problems with your computer, maybe stuff isn't rendering properly, maybe you've got to remake videos, for example, you've got some corrupt footage, you've got to play the games again. There's never really there are never 2 days which always go consistently the same way in terms of when you're making your videos, so it does take a long time. You don't get much spare time, and it's a bit frustrating that is the case. But I love doing YouTube, and hopefully one day it will be my full-time job, and then I'll be fine. But next question comes from Adam Hawkins, and he says, what is your favourite goal of this season? I can't really think of anything that comes to mind other than the goal that was scored a few days ago by Matt Phillips for QPR, who actually comes from a town nearby mine. But Matt Phillips for QPR's goal against Palace was absolutely extraordinary. I mean, what a goal that was. The audacity to take it on from that angle, from that range, was just incredible. Like seriously, the way he just shaped up to shoot from a mile away. I mean, most of the time, if someone scores from that range, you're pointing the fingers at the goalkeeper, and most people probably look at Speroni there. I think it was Speroni in goal for Palace the other day, and say, how on earth did you not stop that? But if you watch the ball back, the way it dipped, the way it went up, the trajectory of the ball was absolutely incredible, and the power on it as well. It wasn't like Speroni had a long time to think about it. It just went past him in a flash from that range. It had power, it had accuracy, trajectory was fantastic. It was an amazing goal, and that was definitely, well, as things stand, the favourite goal of the season. It was an extraordinary goal, but I actually can't think of many goals this season which I've seen and been like, yep, that's a definite goal of the season contender for me. I don't know why. Maybe I haven't watched as much football this year, but it's been interesting. Like when I read that question earlier, I was thinking, what is my favourite goal of the season? Like I genuinely can't think. But yeah, I'd probably say Matty Phillips' goal was just absolutely extraordinary and well worthy of being a winning goal of the season if it does end up winning goal of the season, which it probably will. But the next question comes from, well, I'll get to it in just a moment's time, as Niang takes on Yedlin. What a foot race this is going to be, and Niang's beating him. Lazari is there. It's blocked by Vertonghen, and that should be dealt with. Next question comes from Hugo Holm, and he says, how old are you? Simple question. I'm 22 years old. So, yeah, I feel older. I look older. A lot of people tell me I look older, and I definitely feel older. I probably sound older as well. Yeah, I'm 22 though. 22 years old, and I'll be 23 in November. Next question comes from Jurgen Klopp, and the Borussia Dortmund manager comes to me, and he wants to ask me a question, which is great. And he says, unsure whether it's been asked before, but what are your opinions on Holloway sacking and the future of Millwall? Now, I thought this was a really good question to answer because quite a few of you have been asking me this question and been talking about Millwall. So, this is not just Jurgen Klopp's question, but I thought I'd include his name because, of course, he is the Dortmund manager. But also, just because loads of you have been asking this question and, a variation of this question. And, Holloway got sacked. Funny enough, Holloway got sacked on the day I put out my my Club and Country Europa League final episode where I talked about Millwall's future in the Championship this season, which is probably going to be, Giovanni Dos Santos is a post, and can we get it away? Ericsson, now Lamela, and is that a penalty? No, it's not given. But yeah, our future in the Championship, which is looking a lot more uncertain now. And then Holloway got sacked on the day I put that video up, which was hilarious. But yeah, I to be honest, like when it comes down to it, did I want to see Holloway get the sack? No. But then again, do I want to see any manager get the sack? No, because I don't like to see managers lose their jobs. But I think his position was untenable, to be honest. I mean, when he first came in, I think a lot of people liked the idea of Holloway. I think it was actually Matty Lawrence that was saying the other day that Holloway seemed like a great fit for Millwall, and he did seem like a great fit for Millwall. You'd imagine his passion and his free thinking and just the way he speaks his mind was going to be good for our club, really, to sort of drive the passion out of the fans. But it didn't work because he just said certain things which were not right, like you just can't say certain things that he did. One of the things that really got me, and really frustrated me with Holloway though, was something he said back in the summer, where he said he promised to make the Millwall squad younger, and at the time he left and got sacked, we had the oldest squad in the Championship, and of course we still do have the oldest squad in the Championship. So when you promise to make the squad younger and you end up with the oldest team out of 24 teams in a division, that's just, like, you just can't do that. That's just absolutely absurd, And it's that kind of, broken promises sort of thing, which is always going to get under the skin of fans, especially when you're underperforming, like we were massively. So his position was untenable, and I don't think it was... Yeah, I just don't think he could have stayed. Like, I really don't. As much as I wanted him to succeed here, as much as I want any manager that comes into my club to succeed, I don't think it could have worked out for him to stay. So I think even though, we've only got 10 games to go now, I think there's only 10 games left now at the time I'm doing this commentary, there is anyway. I think it's 9 now. I don't know, I've already forgotten. There's only a few games left anyway, and our future in the Championship is very, very unlikely that we will last longer than this season. I don't really think that he could have stayed anyway to see out this season, because quite frankly he hasn't done anywhere near as much as he needed to do, and I think he's ended with a worse win ratio than Steve Lomas has, so that just says it all really. So Holloway getting the sack was probably the right decision, even though it was a shame to see it happen, because I don't like to see managers lose their jobs. As for the future, well, we're pretty much almost certainly going to get relegated. I can't see us staying up now. I was really hopeful throughout the entire season, really, but over the past month or so, it's just got to a stage now where we just have not done anywhere near enough, and it's almost guaranteed it will be going down. And Harris has come in. He'll probably stay until the end of the season. In fact, I think it's pretty sure he is going to stay until the end of the season now as interim manager. And in the summer, we'll probably get someone new in, and we'll see where it goes. I don't really know who I want as manager, to be honest. I mean, a couple of fans have been throwing the name Mark Warburton out at the hat, but I'm not really too sure who I want, to be honest. I just want someone who's going to stick to their word for once, That's obviously quite rare, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a major change for us anyway. I mean, going back down to League One for the first time since Kenny Jackett was back in charge of us a few years ago now. And quite a few players still out of their contracts in the summer. Quite a few players will be leaving the club. Thankfully, I think Justin Hoyt's contract's up at the end of the year, so thank God for that. What a wage thief he is. And yeah, in the summer we'll assess things, and hopefully we'll be able to come back after a year and get ourselves back into the Championship. I mean, had Holloway stayed, I'm pretty confident that we would be getting back into the Championship next season. The season after next, if we do go down, which we almost certainly will. But yeah, his position was untenable, and I think the club did the right thing to get rid of him. Now the fans will be behind Harris until the end of the season, and hopefully we'll get a new manager in that the fans can get behind completely and indefinitely, and we'll see where we go. So I'm just going to make a couple of changes now. There's no real need to, but this is just to make sure no one pulls up and gets an injury. Put Welbeck on the wing, and yeah, there you go. So the next question comes from, I spent way too long talking about it, didn't I? Sorry, I just love my club. But yeah, the next question comes from where are we? Lorenzo Souza Marquez. I'm pretty sure you just changed your name to make it so I couldn't pronounce it properly. Anyway, he says, do you plan on doing anything for 100,000 subscribers? Obviously, as I would have been mentioning during the episode, or at least at the start of the episode, I did hit 100,000 subscribers on Sunday night, and I want to say thank you very much for that. I thought about doing special videos, but I really don't know what to do. So I'm not too sure if I will end up doing anything as much as I would like to, but the reason I probably won't is because I don't want to do something which is completely underwhelming and just breaks up the usual pattern of videos. I'd rather just continue doing what I'm doing now because it's working, clearly. I've hit 100,000 subscribers and people are enjoying my videos right now, so I'll probably just keep it as it is. But even so, if something does happen, then you'll be the first to know, I guess. But I don't know, I really can't think of anything which I've thought of as an idea to say thank you and as a special which would be really enjoyed, so I probably won't do anything, but we'll have to wait and see. You never know. And there you go. And Byron Riding says, if FIFA did not exist, what game would you do for YouTube, or would you not do YouTube at all? I probably would play 2K and Call of Duty, to be honest, because those are the only other two games which I have played, really, and Football Manager as well over the past couple of years. As I mentioned, I'm not a really big video gaming fan. I'm not someone who is too worried about video games, I guess, which is surprising being a gaming YouTuber. But yeah, I'd probably play 2K, I'd probably play Call of Duty, Football Manager, stuff like that. And I'd like to think I would still do YouTube even if FIFA didn't exist, to be honest, because I really like YouTube. I love what I do. I love the fact I can entertain you guys day in, day out. I love the fact that so many people really enjoy watching my videos, and it's sometimes a safe haven for them to have something to enjoy during the day. I really like doing this, and I do like to think that even if FIFA didn't exist and I'd be struggling to find a game which I'd be good enough to play and put on YouTube, I'd like to think there'd be something I could do for you guys. And yeah, I'd probably play 2K, Call of Duty, Football Manager, stuff like that, and there you go. So this game is pretty much guaranteed to end 3-0 to Arsenal, and this is going to be a fantastic result for us. Exactly what we needed to bounce back. A massive win in the North London derby, and a really good win for us as well. I felt Chris Ince had a pretty decent game as well, pretty solid, didn't seem to make any mistakes, and he made a good save as well early on in the first half, so that was a pretty good game for us. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased we have indeed won the final game of the episode, and the North London derby does go to Arsenal. So our first North London derby of the season, and we win it as well. And I think we thoroughly deserved it as well, to be honest as well. Spurs did do pretty decent themselves, but I felt as though we played a bit better. We had 8 shots on target in the entire game compared to their 1, so that pretty much says it all. Ince was solid, as solid as he needed to be. So yeah, I think we deserved the win, and the 3-0 scoreline was good, and I'm very pleased we do win the final game of the episode. So that is going to be the episode, guys. So as always, a big thank you for watching the video. Of course, this has been a special long video, so if you have enjoyed the video, then please do leave a like, as it is much appreciated. appreciated, and it really does help my channel out. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. 100,000 subscribers is actually incredible when you think about it, so thank you so much for being subscribed to my channel, and thank you very much for all the support on this series as well. 200 episodes is a crazy amount. How much longer we go on for, I don't know, but even so, I'm definitely going to be finishing this season for sure, and probably at least one more as well. So yeah, 200 episodes regardless though of whatever happens. 200 episodes is a crazy amount, and I couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you very much for your support. And as per usual, if you can leave a like on the video to show your support, then please do so. That is much appreciated. And there you go. So we are going to end the episode. And is there anything I was going to show you right at the end? I think that was just going to be it, wasn't it? Yeah, the Spurs game. And that should be about an hour long, I think, after I've done this, or about an hour long. So yeah, let's end it there before I start to rabble on too much. And yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. Really appreciate it. All the support on the series. Much love. Really, really, really is appreciated by me. And if you can leave a like to help me out, please do so. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode, which will of course be episode number 201 very soon.